Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Curly's Ag. Today we've got another special episode with Curtis Stone again, the urban farmer, and we've got some really cool stuff we're checking out. Food forest, we go through his other greenhouse, and we've got heaps of cool stuff we get into. So stick around and we'll get stuck into it. So Curtis, let me ask you, I'm about to put a video out on soil testing. Did you sort of test your soil here before you started mending it?
No. I don't do that anymore. I used to do it. I used to do it methodically.
And what's your...
And I just have an intuition with it now. And I can't explain how it works, and there's nothing practical in it for anybody except that when you've worked with your hands in the dirt as long as I have, I've been farming now and homesteading for 15 years.
Yeah.
And for 10 of those years, 60 to 100 hours a week.
Yes, you know what you're looking at. Yeah.
So I've become sort of, I guess I've put in your what they call your 10,000 hours, and you become a bona fide expert or a master of something. And so I can honestly tell you now that I understand soil so intuitively that I don't even test it anymore.
Right.
If there was a reason to test it, like say I saw some sort of anomaly that made me go, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Why is that happening? Then I would do it.
Yeah.
But I don't even bother.
So I like doing soil tests. I'd just like to know what's there. I don't know, and I'd love to know what sort of country.
Well, I'll tell you what's here.
Yeah, okay.
Because all soils west of the Cascade Mountains are generally the same.
Okay.
So and
the Cascade Mountains.
The Rocky Mountains basically divide Alberta.
Yes.
To here.
Okay.
Huge mountain range that runs all the way through Montana,
okay,
Colorado, all the way down to Utah.
Perfect.
That range of mountains that divides British Columbia.
It's all the same.
The rest of Canada. Everything west is the same, except when you're in low valleys. So there's generally I've witnessed there's two types of soil. There's stuff that's in valleys, which is rich. It's where all the farming is. Like in British Columbia, the lower mainland valley, the Delta Valley.
Yeah.
It's where the majority of agriculture in BC happens. That's a different type of soil. Then up here in the mountains, we have a certain type of soil.
So what are you looking at? Give us a bit of a rough idea.
Nitrogen. So call it adequate levels of phosphorus and potassium and really low levels of nitrogen. That's really how it is, just generally speaking.
And did you find that at when you're doing urban farming?
Absolutely.
All the same. Okay.
Unless I was in a really fertile valley, which sometimes I was. I did have some because I probably flipped over 30 different pieces of land doing that for as long as I did.
And so with your nitrogen, how do you fix it? What do you do with it?
Just fertilize. I mean, of course, the strategy in the long term is to just build good soil. For me, that's a low till or no till. Deep mulching in a way.
Yep.
That's what I'm doing now.
But when you got here, you said you just built this new.
Yeah.
What was because that long process isn't give immediate results.
No, so I fertilize. I use organic fertilizers.
Right. Like a chicken manure sort of a.
Absolutely.
A manure base.
Yeah. Right now I'm using a feather meal. I use a organic certified turkey manure, which is a composted, and it's like
But basically manure.
It's an 844 kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's concentrated, so I don't have to move as much of it.
A lot of it, yeah.
And then I'll use another broad spectrum 444, which is a mix of alfalfa and bone and they put some glacial rock dust in it, which comes from here actually locally.
Give a bit of mineral content.
Yeah,
for your
exactly.
richness.
Fortunately, though, my mineral content's pretty good.
I was going to say, with all this rocky, you'd have some magical minerals.
There's a lot of magical minerals. And I'm kind of discovering the good part of my soil now.
Right.
And on some of the plots that I've had 2 seasons on, like these ones, I'm really seeing it.
Yeah.
And these ones have been those beans where I had a chicken greenhouse there this winter.
Right.
And I had all the birds in there, and they, manured that really well.
Done a really good job.
What I want to do is in time, once I get a base foundation of soil, then I want to just start, it's like you start with the inputs, and then you gradually get yourself off the
exactly,
to the point where you're at a sort of regenerative state.
Right.
Where you found the right equilibrium with your animals, and that's why I'm a big fan of birds. And I'm using them in my gardens now, which is a real game changer.
I didn't see that. So that's your chicken pen there.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, look, I think the main thing I've only ever struggled with was nitrogen, because we've got really rich, fertile soils as well where we are. Typically high in clay and high magnesium.
Yeah.
Have you got much magnesium problems?
Oh yeah. No problems. No deficiencies of it.
No, so I mean excesses.
Oh, You know what? I can't say that I've ever noticed.
Right. So magnesium technically never has an excess. It's just as far as the soil working goes, it gets really sticky. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't have thick, heavy clay up here
It's
like
fairly
you would.
rocky. Yeah.
Because we're high up. If you imagine the way soils accumulate and build in the boreal areas, is that you get precipitation that constantly erodes that soil down, and so it strips it down to a base material.
Yeah.
And then whenever the soil slows, you get deposits.
Yep.
And so what I've done is I've mixed it up. I go and retrieve those deposits and then spread them on the base of what's here to some degree. I have to pick a lot of rocks.
Yeah.
So many rocks. But those rocks have been very useful in landscaping, as you can see. And they are with a variety of projects that we're doing.
And a good road base, like you don't have to worry about
good road base. Oh yeah. My road
undercutting your road.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, let's carry on, Curtis. We'll be here all day talking.
Yeah.
Can we have a quick sneak peek of your greenhouse?
Yeah,
this one over here. Yeah, is that all right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And your onions here with flower on them, is that for seed or what are you doing?
Yeah, it is. Well, this was so. Well, here's an example of the nitrogen. Actually, here's a really cool observational example I can show you of my soil, and it goes along with my intuitive nature with soil. This was onions that I planted last year.
Yeah.
For storage crop. They did terrible because there was just, and I fertilized this. But
right.
I didn't fertilize it close to nearly enough.
Yeah.
I did, but also the soil just didn't reach its equilibrium, and so I know it's deficient in nitrogen. And what do I have growing here? Naturally, volunteering, Carigana. Carigana is a nitrogen-fixing legume boreal tree. Yeah. So you have legume trees in Australia. What's it called? Honey bean or I forget the names. If you watch, Bill Mollison videos, he talks about them all. But this is a nitrogen-fixing legume tree that is growing here naturally. And so what I've been doing is I want to save some of these for seed, so I'm spacing them out and I'm giving the trees space.
Right.
Because I'm going to propagate those trees into my food forest down below. Okay. And I have 4 different support species that go in there that all build biomass and nitrogen in the soil, and I have all of them here naturally growing. I'm harvesting them out of the forests, taking cuttings in the fall, and propagating those, and then in the case of Cariganas, they're growing and seeding in places that needs nitrogen. How cool is that?
Magic. Yeah, no,
it's magic.
It's really interesting to see the different plants that are native to here and how they.
This is mullein. This is medicinal.
Right.
You can use it for a variety of things. It's also God's toilet paper.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty soft. I thought they used to use moss. But I suppose
this is better.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Yeah. This is a little tree, temporary tree nursery.
Okay. So hazelnuts?
These are all nuts. Yeah, hazel, chestnut, bartnut, walnut.
Are they hazelnuts?
This
chestnuts.
I think this is
chestnuts.
Labels right here, Curly.
They look like chestnuts.
This is chestnut. Yeah, you're right. That's hazel.
Yep.
And then this is a mix.
Walnut.
So this is
walnuts.
North American hazel, and then there's walnuts in there. This row is bartnut.
Oh, you brought these all dried root, and you're gonna grow them through this year and then put them in next year.
Yes. Well, actually, I think what I'll do with these is plant these in the fall.
Okay.
And so when we go down to the big, I have a smaller.
Are these oaks here, English oaks?
Yes. That's right. English oak. Yeah, that's right. Good eye, Curly. But yeah, I have a nut. So I'm building a half-acre food forest, which is right behind us.
Right. Oh, this is here. This stuff here.
Yeah. Actually, no. This is a 1/4 acre food forest, and then I have about an 1/8 of an acre food forest up there, which was my first experiment. Basically, just planting in the wild ground. I wanted to see how it would work.
Just by itself, let it happen.
Yeah, like what's in the native ground. Because this is what this little patch here. This is native. These. That's what was here.
Devil lettuce.
Yeah. That's not native, but
no.
This is. And
what are they? Look like blueberries.
They are some kind of berry. I have a lot of berries because the birds come up here.
Right.
I've got cherries. I've got a patch of cherries over there and I got elderberries everywhere here.
Yeah, right.
If you're familiar with elderberry, right down
there.
Yeah.
Something that I really appreciate about this, like when we're staying at Salmon Arm, and we just walked across the forest next door and there's wild cherries growing.
Yeah, well,
you don't get that in Australia.
Yeah, so what's neat about where I am specifically is I'm on a big flight path for migratory birds.
Right.
And they all come through here. So we see the ducks move through here. We see seagulls move through here.
So don't look up with your mouth open.
Yeah, well, you know what? I've actually never had a bird shit on my head. And we have hawks, bald eagles up here. They've never gone after my chickens, which is amazing. But the birds bring the seeds, and then they poop out the seed, and then I've got cherries coming up on my ridge up there.
Okay, up on top.
It's phenomenal. And so that's why I have 28 elderberry trees here
Right.
that are all established.
Yeah.
That have been here for who knows how long.
Yeah, okay.
And so all kinds of stuff. There's currants here. In the treed areas where most of the currants.
Wait a second, Curtis. Let's focus. Let's look at the.
Sorry, yeah,
we get off track. We start talking about other things.
I get too excited about
I do too. I love trees. I'm a little bit of a secret treeologist.
Okay, well let me just open this first.
I don't know if I told you, Curtis. My granddad used to have a palm nursery.
Oh yeah.
I grew up on a palm nursery from as soon as I could breathe, potting palm trees up.
Oh okay.
So that's where my love for trees began.
Oh nice. So this is what I call the high tunnel, Curly.
Okay.
And
Okay.
this is unheated. So
Yeah.
Both the other greenhouses have heat.
Yep.
This one has no heat, and this one I can't run year round, but I can if I do what's called overwintering.
Yep.
So if I have a crop like a spinach or a kale or whatever, carrots, beets, I do it with.
Yep.
I can keep them going. I don't need to have water in here because it still gets below freezing in here, but it keeps it. The soil doesn't freeze.
Right.
Even though we'll be minus 30 out here, it'll still get probably say minus 24 in here, but I stop watering in the fall,
Right.
and then that way I don't freeze the soil out.
And what about, like, you got heaps of humidity in here? Is that fungus got a problem with your mildew tomatoes?
Not really. In the boreal climates,
It
it's
just kills it
fairly
off.
dry that
Yeah.
fungus problems just aren't really a thing.
Okay.
For you in the temperate
Massive.
subtropical, it's brutal.
It's 99% of our problems.
Yeah, exactly. This is why I love. Well, it's interesting too because agriculture is based on Northern Europeans, right, or Western Europeans. So agriculture doesn't function like when the Europeans took agriculture to Africa, they were screwed. It worked in South Africa in parts because they still had a similar climate, but then you get into the tropics and the temperate climates, it functions totally different. So, you know, the beautiful thing about these climates is very few pest problems, little to no soil-borne illnesses.
I think the biggest thing is if you take things from different zones into different zones, that's when you start getting a lot of cross-pest problems. Because like for us to grow something like macadamias, like they're native, they just grow like wild, whereas tomatoes, which are a temperate climate product, it's hard when we cross climates with product. You know?
Absolutely.
Avocados and mangoes grow by themselves where we live.
Yeah, wow. That's lovely.
Whereas on this side of things, tomatoes are a struggle. So
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely, and we push the envelope. That's probably part of our job, Curtis, is pushing them envelopes cross climates to get the maximum amount of diversity of food in the maximum amount of
that's right.
Season.
Yeah, and that's
our season.
yeah. I mean, and for me, you know, coming from a market garden perspective and having that same approach as I need to maximize the profitability of my farm to at least get a solid 8-month to 10-month growing season.
Yep.
My same, you know, sort of initiative and inspiration comes into my homestead as I want to do the same thing.
Yeah, perfect.
Because we do. People look at our garden, friends come up and they go, "You can't eat all that stuff," and I go, "No, we do.
Do you really?
Absolutely, we eat it all. We eat all of it."
Yeah. Right.
And we preserve. So we eat all of it. We preserve it. We give a lot away to our friends.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
But honestly, I wouldn't even have enough to take to market. Not even close.
Okay. All right.
I could rearrange my farm, and I'm building more terraces too, Curly. So.
And to be fair, once all these here are growing and putting out fruit, you'll have a lot more, you know, nuts and stuff that you may not consume.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's go on, Curtis. The sun's going down at this rate. so much to see around here.
So this is all under development, and this is so this was another natural draw. Well, not a draw, but an area where the soil slowed down as it was eroding. So it came down this bank.
So you haven't brought anything in here?
No, this is all was here.
Okay.
And so this was a bit of a grassy area, and when I first came here, I put in a little orchard that was on both sides of this path that goes down.
Oh, a couple of cherries and stuff there?
Yeah, that's just cherries.
Is that
coming up from birds.
Is that an apple or? Oh, they're not. You didn't plant them.
No.
That wasn't part of your orchard.
Nothing. No, this is what I'm talking about here.
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, this is just wild.
Okay. All right.
And so what I've done is I've terraced this to slow the soil erosion down even more, so that I can, in time, build soil here exponentially. And so I'm doing a food forest in here, and it's a food forest that's it's not perfectly on contour. It's just enough to slow the water down. Being perfectly on contour isn't really that relevant on this land because it's so porous.
Yeah.
My soil just it's this, right?
Yeah.
You go down deep anywhere, that's what it is. And so I just can't hold on to water in the same way you would with a swale.
Yeah.
but what I can do is slow it down. And
Yeah.
so that's what these do. And
Sinks
then
it in.
basically there's a 1 meter wide bed.
Yes.
So the terrace is, I think it's 4 meters from this tree to this tree. And
Okay.
there's a high emergent tree at the beginning of each row.
Yep.
1 meter bed,
So you said there's a high emergent tree.
a high emergent tree.
What does that mean?
A tall tree.
Okay, just a big tree.
High
Yep.
canopy tree. That,
Okay.
you know, in 10 to 20 years, it'll be the tallest tree in here.
So like an English oak or one of them
English, any of those
chestnuts.
nuts. It's
Yeah.
all, so in this case, it's all nuts. So it's English oak at the beginning of each row. It's English oak, chestnut, hazelnut. so
Just
on
out
and
of
so forth.
curiosity, the English oaks, are they purely for ornamental value, or do you eat them in some
There is a
fashion?
nut with that. Actually, I don't know if those. I don't think I'm going to put English oak here. I got a bunch of nut trees from a guy in the area,
Yeah, okay.
and he gave me some English oaks.
Yeah, they're just beautiful anyway.
Yeah, I think they're just beautiful. So yeah, no, they might not go at the front of these, but
But
this will
you're-
all be nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
And so this is a 6 meter pattern, Curly. So from
Yeah.
that stake to these 2 red flags is 6 meters.
Okay.
And basically it's a pattern that mirror images itself. So here there's a fruit tree. So in this case, it's a pear,
Yes.
a tall fruit tree, and at the beginning it's a high emergent nut tree.
Yeah.
And then this red flag here will be an apple or a plum or an apricot. So a
So you
medium-sized
prune
fruit
down.
tree.
Yeah.
Then every 25 centimeters there's a green flag, and I've taken them out before just to demonstrate.
Oh
this.
yeah, I can see them down there. I can see
Yeah,
them
yeah,
down
you
there.
can see them down there. And so what the idea is, so every pink is a fruiting shrub. So high emergent tree, fruiting shrub, apple, plum,
Yes.
apricot, fruiting shrub, fruiting shrub.
So fruit shrub with like a blueberry.
Yeah, a raspberry, blueberry,
Yeah.
goji berry, sea buckthorn,
Right.
you name it,
Yeah.
any fruiting shrub. Then the whites and the oranges they're different types of support trees. So these ones are like honey locust. What else is there in there?
They're a smaller tree though.
Slightly smaller. And then from there, I have a green flag every 25 centimeters or every 50 centimeters. And those are a collection of all the trees that I was showing you up there that I have everywhere. They're Carigana, which is a nitrogen-fixing legume tree.
Yeah. Okay.
A poplar,
Okay.
which is just a biomass tree. And I have what are called trembling aspens. You see those deciduous trees? Those
Yeah,
light
yeah,
green?
yeah. I've always wondered
They're
what they
everywhere.
were.
Trembling
Yeah,
aspen. And then I've got a green alder, which is another just biomass tree. And then I've got, what's the other one? Shit.
So wait a second,
Anyway.
Curtis. So this is going to be super dense.
Super dense.
Like it's going to be
a plant every 25 centimeters. But how it works is, like I said, it's a 6 meter pattern.
yeah.
And so in 3 years, all the green flags are gone. They're going to get chopped and dropped every fall
okay.
for 3
Okay.
to 5 years. Then the honey locusts and the bigger support trees, the orange and the whites,
Mm-hmm.
they'll grow up a bit bigger, and in 10 years they're gone.
Okay.
So in 10 years, all I have
Okay.
is the fruit
All right,
trees
all
and
right.
the fruiting shrubs.
So the other ones, okay, I was thinking that was crazy, but you're just protecting basically and helping the biomass grow where you can.
It's chop
and then
and
get rid of
drop,
them.
straight up Jeff Lawton style, but it's like a intense. It's actually a good friend of mine, Dakota Cohen, very hotshot young permaculture designer who came up with this idea, and it's neat because it's a mirror image. So
Right.
at 3 meters, this is a mirror image of that.
Right.
And then so I replicate it over and over these terraces, and so that's the kind of the.
So when
plan
you
with
finish, it'll be a nice, neat,
Yeah.
aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, and you'll be excited to hear
Civilized,
this.
yeah.
I designed these terraced based on making sure that Clydesdale of yours can mow around
Right.
the beds.
Right. So just
So,
go down over the edge and
Come
then
in,
keep going.
go around, and I come back down here.
Yeah. Well. It's,
And then this is all negative space. This will be seeded with white dwarf clover,
Mm-hmm,
nitrogen fixing lawn, basically.
will it get shaded out with the big trees here eventually? You think or not?
What shaded out?
Yeah. Like will it want to just kill from not enough sunlight?
No, the clover can run.
It'll
grow
run,
in-
okay.
in shade.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
And at some point, I'm sure other species will kind of find themselves in there. And
Because the walnut has a poisonous root, doesn't it? It kills out the other trees around
walnuts
it.
do at about 20 years or 15 years, it
They
produces
started.
this stuff called juglone,
Yeah.
which will kill competition. So
Yeah.
I won't put walnuts in here.
Oh, okay. Keep
Yeah.
them out by
Yeah,
themselves.
walnuts, I got specific spots for those.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
outside of this. But yeah, so here's the thing with these terraces is these all drain out
Yes.
either into the main path
Yes.
or down the other side. And we've
Okay.
had, the soil's really wet right now, as you can
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
We've had about a week of steady, heavy rain. Pretty much, we're getting all the rain we're going to get in the year right now. We might get a little bit more in October, November, but we're getting it all now.
I can definitely see though, like you've got you know, a good rock and a fairly sandy.
Yeah.
Like if this was our place, you'd be about knee deep in mud now.
Yeah, we don't get, it takes a lot to get mud here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of cool because these are
Yeah.
stable. So the way I crafted these is with my excavator there. I've got a 6-way dozer blade on there.
Yeah, that's nice.
So
Hey, that's snazzy.
Oh, it's amazing. So
Curtis,
I come
this is
in,
something that really
so
tickles
Curly,
my.
check this out. I'll show you how I did it, but with
Yeah.
my hand. So I come in with the machine,
Yeah.
and the first thing I do is I take that dozer blade,
Yeah.
and I get it at the level that the ground was.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm just scraping. And I go and I scrape off all the top
Yes.
1 inch of organics.
Yep.
Well, first I picked out stumps and stuff like that.
Yep.
But then I scraped. Then I take the bucket, the cleanup bucket, and I heaved all the topsoil over to the low side.
Yeah.
And I kept scraping all the topsoil. Then I scraped down to about as wide as that blade to subsoil. Then I start scraping the subsoil, and I can take that dozer blade and angle it into the bank.
Yeah. I know what you mean, and it cuts
and
it
then
flat.
And then I can take it like this, and I can push it down. So I come and I scrape, and I make myself a fairly level path,
Hmm.
and I bring that out, and I take some of it to shape below, and I just drive the machine on. I pack the hell out of it,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's pretty rocky stuff too.
Yeah.
To some degree, there's a lot of soil here though.
Yeah.
Then I bring the topsoil back.
Mm-hmm.
Then we use the BCS, and we tried the Harrow too, but we BCS'd it out, raked it, and then hand tuned it all with those hand tools, and then shaped that bed, and then done.
I don't mean to be funny, Curtis, but I'm a bit of an excavatorologist. You know, part time I've always got a couple of, but usually 28, 30 tonners
Yeah.
on our property. I've never seen a 5-way blade on an excavator.
6-way blade.
6-way blade.
So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Is that like special order or?
It's unreal, man. It's a game changer.
Like where do you, like I've never seen them, like are they come standard with Kubota or they just
No.
started bringing them to Australia?
No, this
Custom made.
model, this is the only model of the Kubotas that has the 6-way blade.
But it must be like a special import to America. Look, maybe I don't deal with little ones much, but I just, that's borderline erotic.
Oh, it's insane. It's a game changer for
Yeah,
up here.
no, a bit of fun as well. Alright guys, well that's it for today. Again, like I said, there's heaps, as you can see, there's heaps of stuff we've gone through. Super dense, super packed. Curtis has got heaps of information to share with us. So if you like this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our other videos. And we've got 2 more episodes left coming with Curtis, going through his house and the battery and the solar and the storage and all that sort of stuff. So if you guys want to see more on where the urban farmer's at, and he's got heaps to share with us. So don't forget to like and subscribe and stay around for next week. Till next time, all the best guys.